After the latest mass shooting in Uvalde, Texas, opponents of new gun safety laws in the U.S. are tap dancing around a key question that keeps coming up. Why does this only happen repeatedly here in America? Here's Texas Republican Senator Ted Cruz speaking with Sky News.
Why only in America? Why is this American exceptionalism so awful?
You know, I'm sorry you think American exceptionalism is awful.
I think this aspect of it.
You got your political agenda.
No, it's honestly,
God love you.
Senator, it's not. I just want to understand why you do not think that guns are the problem.
Why is this just an American problem?
Well, it is just an American problem, sir.
Cruz and many other gun control opponents have their familiar talking points, from arming more staffers in schools to forcing students to use just one door to enter and exit campus. But they are adamant no new restrictions on firearms.
Look, the killer entered here the same way the killer entered in Santa Fe, through a back door, an unlocked back door. I sat down at round tables with the families from Santa Fe. We talked about what we need to do to harden schools, including not having unlocked back doors, including not having unlocked doors to classroom, having one door that goes in and out of the school, having armed police officers at that one door.
The truth of the matter is these people are going to commit these horrifying crimes, whether they have to use another weapon to do it with. They're going to figure out a way to do it.
I can't assure the American people there's any law we can pass to stop this shooting.
A person who is intent on committing violence is very hard to stop under any circumstances. An act of Congress isn't going to do it. Neither will gun control. There are more guns in this country than there are people. There always have been. However you feel about that fact, you can acknowledge that we will never get rid of all of those guns. The Constitution prohibits that, and you would set off a civil war if you tried to do it.
Leave it to Tucker Carlson to raise the prospect of civil war after a mass shooting. But the pro-gun talking points have been falling flat this week. To be clear, a war is already being waged against this nation's school children, who now live under a climate of fear doing mass shooter drills in their classrooms. And of course, in many parts of the U.S., you only have to be 18 years old to purchase a weapon of war, an assault-style rifle like the AR-15, the weapon of choice for most mass shooters. Consider this list of recent shootings in the U.S. where AR-15 style weapons were used. Boulder, Colorado, 10 dead. Parkland, Florida, 17 dead. Las Vegas, 60 dead. Aurora, Colorado, 12 dead. Sandy Hook Elementary School in Connecticut, 26 dead. San Bernardino, California, 14 dead. Midland, Odessa, 7 dead. Sutherland Springs, Texas, 26 dead. Tree of Life Synagogue in Pennsylvania, 11 dead. And don't forget Buffalo, just 2 weeks ago today. In some of those shootings, other weapons were used in addition to the AR-15, but it keeps coming back to that gun. And yet, at the National Rifle Association convention on Friday, a 4-hour drive from the Uvalde school massacre, we should note, we still heard another pro-gun talking point, that all that's needed is a good guy with a gun.
Ultimately, as we all know, what stops armed bad guys is armed good guys. We must not react to evil and tragedy by abandoning the Constitution or infringing on the rights of our law-abiding citizens.
Tell that to the people in Uvalde. The good guys with guns in Texas have already admitted they made the wrong decision in waiting outside a classroom door as the shooter killed children inside. A top Texas law enforcement official explained the officers on the scene were afraid they would be shot.
They do not know where the gunman is. They are hearing gunshots. They are receiving gunshots. At that point, if they proceeded any further, not knowing where this suspect was at, they could have been shot. They could have been killed. And at that point, that gunman would have the opportunity to kill other people inside that school.
They could have been shot. They could have been killed. Imagine how the kids felt. If the cops were afraid, justifiably so, how are we supposed to arm teachers? Yes, this is a uniquely American phenomenon. According to the New York Times, from 1998 to 2019, the U.S. led, there it is right there, the developed world in the number of mass shootings. It's not even close. And the numbers here in the U.S. have only shot up over the last few years. The last time the U.S. enacted a major piece of gun legislation was 1994, when the assault weapons ban became a law before expiring 10 years later. Studies have shown mass shootings fell during this period and then rose again after the law expired. Studies have also indicated that the ban's restrictions on high-capacity magazines also had an impact because they reduced the number of victims shot in these massacres. Since then, Congress has been essentially paralyzed on this issue. Contrast that with other U.S. allies that have experienced mass shootings. They've done something about it, and it's worked. After a mass shooting in Australia in 1996, the government launched a gun buyback program and imposed tough new restrictions on gun ownership. That solved the problem in Australia. Britain, Canada, Norway, and New Zealand have all enacted sweeping new restrictions on firearms and have seen major declines in mass shootings. So to all the people who ask, what can we do? What can we do? There are things we can do. But there are powerful forces standing in the way of new laws on firearms, namely the nation's top gun lobby, the NRA. The NRA used to give money to both parties, but not anymore. Look at this graphic from Open Secrets, which tracks political contributions. In 2012, 89% of NRA contributions went to the GOP. In 2016, it was 99%. In 2020, it was 98%. This year so far, it's been 100%. Which brings us to the filibuster, which is not a law, just a tradition in the Senate. When Democrats control the House, they can pass gun control bills with a simple majority, but not in the Senate. You need 60 votes to overcome the filibuster and pass legislation in the Senate. The last time the Senate came close to approving a gun safety law was in 2013. That was after the massacre at Sandy Hook Elementary School, when the Senate failed to pass expanded background checks and what was known as the Manchin-Toomey Amendment. The vote was 54 to 46. 5 Democrats and 41 Republicans voted against the amendment. That was 9 years and too many mass shootings ago.
It came down to politics. The worry that that vocal minority of gun owners would come after them in future elections. So all in all, this was a pretty shameful day for Washington.
And it has remained shameful. Here in the U.S., opponents of new gun safety laws say the real issue is mental illness, as if the U.S. has a monopoly on mental illness. Of course, mental illness exists around the world. Only the U.S. has this problem with mass shootings. The National Alliance on Mental Illness told CNN this in 2019. If this were a mental health issue, and this was the only issue involved here, what you would see is roughly the same number of mass shootings around the world, and we're not seeing that. There's the old saying that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. In this country, you have to be 21 years old to buy a beer or a pack of cigarettes, but you only have to be 18 to buy an AR-15. Authorities in Texas say the 18-year-old shooter in Uvalde not only had an AR-15 style assault rifle with him, but also more than 1,600 rounds of ammo. He's 18. That's crazy. Just like the alcohol and tobacco industry, the gun makers do advertising too. Daniel Defense, the gun maker of the weapon used in the Uvalde mass shooting, posted this online ad in the days before that massacre. It shows a small child holding an AR-15 style rifle. The ad says, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." It's a reference to a Bible proverb. Here's another one. We reap what we sow.